The racist grifter Jake Lang, who goes around from city to city antagonizing black people, calling us the N-word with the hard R, saying we don't belong in America and America is this white nation, just got exposed for being an absolute and messaging who he thought was a child. We'll get back to the video shortly, but I wanted to let you guys know this video is being sponsored by Kalshi. Kalshi is an app where you can make money predicting current events. I put money on what the weather is gonna be every day on Kalshi. I check the weather app when I wake up. And really all I do is I look at what the highest temperature is gonna be for the day. Then I go on Kalshi and place a prediction on what I think the highest temperature is going to be for the day. I'll say probably 7 out of 10 times my weather prediction hits. Sometimes it doesn't hit. But if you want to get paid by predicting weather on a daily basis, you can do so on Kalshi by clicking the link in my description and downloading the app and using code FLACO to get $10 on your first deposit.
Go back, APAC, go back. That's the APAC building right there. White Christian men are not going to sit around while you turn our children into a bunch of lovers.
This dude is the living embodiment of projection. So he comes online and he tries to fit in with the racists and anti-Semites, even though he's Jewish, but he tries to hide that part of his identity. He does everything possible, like try to take pictures down, try to hide his family, but they still discovered his mom is a Jewish woman. His family is Jewish. They found family pictures of him in Israel kissing the wall, but he still comes online and played his white supremacist anti-everything grift because that's the easiest, least creative way to make money, especially for the talentless. Even his anti-Muslim is a projection. Like that grift is a projection because he claims he hates Muslims because they're and they worship a people. But surprise, surprise, Jake Lang himself is a people.
I've been informed by my team that there are thousands of death threats coming from the Yemenis Houthi Muslim terrorist organization because I simply exercised my First Amendment right to put a Quran inside a pig's head here in Plano, Texas. Well, America, the pig heads and the Qurans will continue. The burnings will continue until morale improves. I've got some beautiful, juicy, delicious bacon here and some Prophet Muhammad Qurans. And today, we're going to cook our beautiful bacon. It's sizzling.
Just an absolute degenerate. I disavow this. We all disavow this. Nobody truly thinks whatever he's doing is cool. But he does this lowbrow stuff, this uncreative, hateful stuff, because this is the easiest way he has to get attention. Now, he has galvanized an audience of other weirdos. Now, there are not many, to be honest, but they're just loud because things like this is provocative and just loud. So, but this whole entire thing that he's doing where he's anti-Muslim because he claims that Muslim is culture is absolute hogwash, is projection. We now know due to the work of some online vigilantes who did like a sting on Jake Lang, that Jake Lang is exactly who he claims he hates.
There's a lot of creeps and weirdos in politics, and let's welcome one of them right here, Jake Lang. So Jake Lang here ran in Senate for Florida, which he lost. And now he does these social media things where he does crusades as a Christian and basically does anti-Muslim stuff, anti-Islam stuff. So like, for example, he posts, things like this, where he says, we have no fear of worshiping Muslims in Christ Jesus. But what Jake doesn't tell you is he was chatting up with my 15-year-old decoy. So let's see what he had to say then. By the way, he says he's Christian, but there's, stuff like this. So they were talking about the march and how he wanted her to be at the march in Texas. And he said that I have too many DMs, text me, baby. So she sent her number. And let's see what he said on text.
People have mixed emotions about these vigilantes and people who do this type of work. It's not my place to sit here and tell you how to feel about these people. What I would say, though, I'm very glad they did this so Jake Lang could get exposed. But think about the people who get caught in these, though. Now, it's one thing to be but to get caught in something like this, you got to be a different level. You got to have an appetite that's so irresistible to your self-control that you just fall for this. Because you have seen thousands and countless examples of this play out online. You've seen countless examples of people do these decoys and people getting caught in person and cops being caught. You've seen so many examples to deter you, but you have such an irresistible appetite for these kids that you will allow yourself to fall into this. Y'all not understanding me. Think about it for a second. They know the chances are that this is a decoy is like 99%. But that 1% is so irresistible to them that they still go for it. Nah, son, you don't. If you want kids that bad, bruh, I don't feel comfortable with you ever coming back to society, bruh. There's not a punishment long enough for you, man.
She says, "How old are you, by the way?" Said, "I just turned 30, honey." "What are you doing up so late, young lady?" Then tells Jake, "I might be too young for you." And he says, "How old are you, baby? Unless you are under 18, I don't care." Then she says, "I'm 15, LOLO." Now keep in mind at this point, what you should do is you should block the girl or just not talk to her. But let's see what Jake says next. He asks her, "When do you turn 16? And she says, "In 6 months." And then says, "I won't get you in trouble if that's what you are worried about." And he likes that message. And then asks, "What state do you live in? Question mark. I can't see you till you're 16. Jake, why would you be asking a 15-year-old when she's going to turn 16 and what state she's in? That sounds like, to me, you are trying to get with a 16-year-old if the age is consensual in that state.
I'm always wary of those dudes who somehow know the age of consent in every country, in every state. They can tell you the age of consent here and here. They can tell you every state where the age of consent is 16 and every state where the age of consent is 15. People like that, yo, I'm wary of you, bro. Because why? If the age of consent was 16 in this state, does that mean it's right for you to go ahead and do that? Does that mean that's okay? No, it's not. It's still nasty. You're still it's not okay whatsoever. That's what Jake Lang was trying to do. Jake Lang was trying to see her when she turned 16 because apparently that was the age of consent where he was at. But she's in Arizona, which I think the age of consent there is 18. So even if the age of consent is 16 where he's at, if she travels and engages in anything with Jake Lang, he's still going to jail. He's still going to jail. But fortunately, this here was a decoy. This here was a fake. Like, it was a decoy. It was a fake kid. So there was no kid being put at risk here. But Jake Lang would have stuck his grown beef stick if this was a real kid. This is nasty and disgusting. If this was not already bad enough, his response to getting exposed makes it even worse. Because he could have easily said those messages are fake. He could have easily been a weirdo by unsending the IG messages and then saying, "It's fake, I didn't do it, prove it." And then it will be his word versus their word, right? And, online vigilantes kind of have a bad reputation already. But this dude will go on to, one, confirm the messages are real, but then he would also give probably the dumbest excuse ever, right? So Alex Rosen is also an online vigilante who's also a violent racist as well. But I guess him and Alex Rosen is cool. So he felt comfortable in talking to Alex Rosen. So Alex wrote, "Were those messages real? I'm just asking before anything." So he responded back and he blames another violent racist in Nick Fuentes. He says, "Nick Fuentes went on a 10-minute vicious rant about me on his show yesterday. What does this have to do with the price of tea in China?" All right. What does Nick Fuentes' rant have to do with anything? He says, "So the Groper Army has been attacking me with dozens of phishing hoax and scams. My lawyers are gathering everything now and preparing to strike back hard now." And he says, "But, well, were those texts you being for real or just effing around?" Let's be clear here. When he says phishing, hoax, and scam, he's not saying the messages are fake. He's saying it's real, right? The messages are real, but Nick Fuentes, because Nick Fuentes don't like him or went off on him, that now the gropers are sending decoys his way. Just because they send you the decoy doesn't mean you have to offer to link up with the decoy. Like that's not how it works, okay? You can send 1,000 decoys my way. I do not deal with children. So You could send 1,000 my way. It's going to be the same story every time. I'm not dealing with a child. I'm not a. So you falling for this, or you going along with it, only shows you're a, right? So then he says, my team who does my DMs from out of the country suspected I was being fished. Yeah, okay, buddy. All right. You have a team out the country. Okay. I confirmed it by asking their agent, telling them the legal boundaries, never spoke to them again after that. No. You said you can't see them until they're 16, meaning you was down to see a 16-year-old. I don't care if it's legal to see a 16-year-old. You still a you nasty. All right. So Alex Rosen says, makes sense. And what do you mean fished? They were talking about coming to my protest and then switched, trying to rope the conversation into something illegal, and we pulled the plug. I told them I needed women for my burqa and bikini march that was planned for February in Florida, and they started search. But this person was fishing us to set me up for something illegal, which I then pulled the plug on, which, again, 100% cap is all a lie. And the other messages, right, of him flirting with this person would show that this, one, this was him flirting. Two, this has nothing to do with no protest, bro. He was trying to link up to Smash. So then Alex says, okay, so what made you refer to this girl as honey and baby? Right? If this was coming to a protest, then why were you calling this girl honey and baby? Which, again, obvious. So Alex, again, is playing coy and playing good cop just to get him to admit to things, okay? So then he writes, never once was there a pet name used after this Fisher identified their age. No one talks we had other than them coming to a protest. Sir, you said I can't see you until you're 16. He even tries to lie about like the exact message he sent. So he says the chat was cleared, but I know for a fact that the last message that was sent said that I can't see you. No, you said I can't see you until you're 16. That's what you said, buddy.
So Jake Lang got caught talking to my 15-year-old decoy, and doesn't surprise me. He doesn't take any accountability. Instead, he's going to try to blame this on the Groypers. And if you don't know what the Groypers are, they're Nick Fuentes fans. So he's trying to say, I'm a Groyper hoax. The whole thing's a hoax. You know, just like Epstein case, it's a hoax, right? Now, he talked to my good friend, Alex Rosen. Alex, you know, he was doing his regular tactic where he talks to him, acts like their friend, but in reality, he's just getting information. And now, this has to be the dumbest excuse ever. So he tries to say that it was his team talking to my decoy. But that's not true, because if you look at the conversations, it's him flirting with the girl, and then him going on text, and then him trying to say that the last message he sent was, I can't see you. And I have this on voice recording, but he lies so much, and he tries to trick Alex by saying, oh, I just said I wouldn't see you, but he forgets the part where he says, I can't see you till you're 16.
I've got whole entire teams of people messaging people, and we were going to do a big burqa bikini march I had announced for February. Like, you know, you shouldn't even be anywhere near this thing until you're like of the legal age to even be around adults. So anyway,
right. I mean, what?
You know, and that's where it ended. Like as soon as I said that, when I said I can't see you, and that's it. That was the last message. And,
right.
You know, that's
right. Have you like shared your with anybody or given that out to people before?
I don't think so. Why?
So your team DMs girls and asks for their number and then says, I have too many DMs, text only, sweetie. So that's like a normal way for your team to DM girls, huh? Or is it normal for your team to text them saying, did you see me get freaking lynched, babe? Good to hear from you. And I'm sure
there's no way out of this, man. Even like messages like, I'll see if my mom will be okay with it, and I moved to Arizona. Like, come on, bro. What adult is typing like that? What adult is saying, I'll ask my mom if I can come? Man, cut it out, bro. Like, Jake, you a nasty man, man.
normal for your team to say too, right? So basically, his excuse is that it's Nick Fuentes' fault, not his fault, his team's fault, not his fault, and that he was going to do a bikini march, which he never mentioned to the decoy.
The saddest part about this, him being exposed does nothing, because like us normal people, we already didn't like him, right? We don't like people, we don't like racists, we don't like anti-Semites. But his audience, they're not normal people, right? They are degenerates. They're also people, they're also racist, they're also anti-Semites. So like his audience ain't turning on him just because he like kids. Like they like kids too. Y'all let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think about this, man? All right, and if you're still watching my videos and you want to watch another good video, click on this video right here somewhere on my screen to find out why Dr. Umar Johnson is back with more lies. His lies just keep getting worse. I'm going to see you guys in this Umar Johnson video. If you love my content, please click on the hype button and send me a hype to help me push my videos in the algorithm. I really appreciate it. Please send me a hype. I'm going to see you guys in this Umar video. I'm out of here, folks. Peace.